This is 1A. I'm Todd Zwillich in Washington. The spread of COVID-19 has upended life for millions of people in the United States. The World Health Organization declared the coronavirus outbreak a pandemic this week. Hundreds of schools are closed nationwide. Millions are working from home, and the toll of the disease continues to rise.
Millions of Americans ordered to shelter in place as the coronavirus pandemic spreads. The drastic new measures in the San Francisco area. Residents told to stay in their homes and avoid contact for the next 3 weeks. The U.S. and Canada closing their borders as the coronavirus pandemic deepens. New shelter-in-place orders as millions more Americans are told to stay home. The Navy to deploy 2 hospital ships, one to New York City. The U.S. toll rising over 130 deaths. Cases globally now topping 200,000. President Trump calling himself a wartime president. The dire predictions from the White House expect a dramatic increase in cases in the next 4 to 5 days. And just in, the Senate passing an economic relief bill.
Shutdowns expand across the country. 75 million Americans now told to stay home. Ground stops today for major airports as an air traffic controller gets sick. And a major reversal in testing for certain cities. Only those hospitalized will get one. Why the vice president is now getting tested. The desperate measures at hospitals across the country. Healthcare workers running out of vital supplies. And the major companies now stepping in to help.
Governor is announcing more aggressive steps to protect Hoosiers against COVID-19. Most notable, a stay-at-home order starting tomorrow night and going through April 6th. Megan Santorum is at the State House that explains what this means for you.
That calls on all Hoosiers to hunker down.
COVID-19 continues to wreak havoc on the world of sports, this time the Olympics. Japan and the Olympic Committee have postponed the Tokyo Games until next year.
Well, it's different because, when people used to ask me over the years, what is it that I most worry about with regard to emerging infectious diseases, is a respiratory-borne illness that easily spreads from person to person, but that has a high degree of morbidity and mortality. And unfortunately, that's the worst nightmare you could have.
I want every American to be prepared for the hard days that lie ahead. We're going to go through a very tough 2 weeks. And then hopefully, as the experts are predicting, as I think a lot of us are predicting after having studied it so hard, we're going to start seeing some real light at the end of the tunnel. But this is going to be a very painful, very, very painful 2 weeks.
You've probably spent all your time over the last 3 weeks at home. And after spending all this time at home, the big question I have is, what day is it? Today is April 1st, known throughout the world as April Fool's Day. It's the perfect day to reveal a secret you've been keeping, and if the person you tell reacts badly, you can just pass it off as a prank. Now, this year, as you can imagine, no one is in the mood to be pranked. In fact, governments around the globe, including Thailand and Germany, have warned their citizens not to spread hoaxes or to prank anybody relating to the coronavirus. And let's just take a moment to realize how crazy things have gotten. In other news, there are now 900,000 confirmed coronavirus cases around the globe, and what's disturbing is that some countries are experiencing a second wave of the crisis. For instance, in Hong Kong, they successfully social distanced, saw their numbers drop, relaxed their quarantine rules, and now they've been hit with a new wave of infections. Yeah, a new wave of coronavirus. And I feel so bad for these Asian countries, because whether it's coronavirus or Godzilla, every time they think it's gone, it comes back again for another movie.
The White House says America will likely see between 100,000 and 240,000 deaths from coronavirus, many within the next month. While most governors across the country have issued stay-at-home orders for residents, a few states have not, defying the recommendations of national public health experts. And the Labor Department reported today that the U.S. economy lost jobs in March for the first time in more than 9 years. Also, a record 6.6 million Americans applied for unemployment benefits last week as the coronavirus pandemic continues to take its toll.
Let's kick it off with the big news. Here in the United States, the country is bracing for a week that the Surgeon General Jerome Adams said is going to be our Pearl Harbor moment and our 9/11 moment, adding that this is going to be the hardest and saddest week of most Americans' lives. Yeah, that's a really, really dire warning. But despite these warnings, there are still people who are not taking social distancing seriously.
For some cities, good weather was all it took to draw out the crowds. People gathering in San Francisco, flooding Washington, D.C.'s famous Seafood Wharf Saturday, and strolling New York's Central Park.
In Los Angeles, officers breaking up a celebration for a 1-year-old little girl, calling in reinforcement after the crowd became agitated.
Across the country, religious leaders are holding services and risking their parishioners and their community's health.
America endured a tragic week of the COVID-19 pandemic. The death toll has reached more than 16,000 deaths
Tonight,
nationwide.
over 25,000 dead in America from coronavirus. And in New York City, a shocking announcement late today why the death toll there has suddenly spiked by nearly 4,000. Also, the new normal, the stunning roadmap California's governor is laying out, major changes people would have to get used to even after the country starts to open up.
What authority do you have?
Well, I have the ultimate authority. The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful.
President Trump releases new federal guidelines for reopening the country in phases. He says it's up to governors and mayors to decide when to open businesses and schools based on the spread of the virus in their areas. But without additional federal funds for widespread testing, will this patchwork approach only allow the virus to spread further? The Department of Labor says 22 million Americans have filed for unemployment in the past 4 weeks, inflicting a toll on the labor force not seen since the Great Depression. But the $349 billion federal loan program intended to help small businesses during the pandemic ran out of money. Will congressional lawmakers put aside their differences and refund the Paycheck Protection Program?